Forget everything you thought you knew about imagination. Your brain possesses a hidden superpower, the mind's eye. It doesn't just project images, it physically rewrites your perception and lived reality. This isn't esoteric theory, it's hardcore neurology. In this video, we reveal the specific brain mechanisms proving that visualizing your inner world can directly shape and transform your external environment by recalibrating your neural responses. Prepare yourself. From now on, you won't just dream, you will learn to operate your brain's reality-shaping tools with surgical precision. Welcome, I am Dr. Lumen. In today's analysis, we leave the world of motivational quotes behind and enter the neuroscience laboratory. We will examine what happens inside the skull when you close your eyes and focus on a goal. One of the strangest features of the human brain is that, on a biological level, it is unable to distinguish between a vividly imagined event and physical reality. In both cases, the exact same neural networks fire, and the same chemical processes are triggered, effectively priming your body for an action that has not yet occurred. Think about it. Only a fraction of the raw data gathered by your optic nerves reaches conscious processing. Your brain fills the remaining space based on past experiences, expectations, and internal visualization. This cognitive architecture acts as a predictive engine, constantly guessing the state of the world. This means that what you call reality is largely the result of an internally generated simulation, a controlled hallucination. If you understand how to master the simulation, you can harness your brain's filters, from the Reticular Activating System to the visual cortex, to serve your own goals. It is not the world around you that changes first, but the biological machinery you use to observe it. The lens through which you view existence is yours to reprogram. The brain's secret projector. The mind's eye is not a poetic metaphor, it is a concrete, definable neurological system within your brain. When you close your eyes and visualize, a highly complex chain of command is initiated. The prefrontal cortex, your brain's executive center, sends instructions to the visual cortex to create images without any light stimulus hitting your eyes. This is an internal reality simulator. In these moments, your brain isn't just browsing memories. It is actively generating images in real time, utilizing the exact same neurons as it would if you were actually seeing something. This neural firing pattern creates a high-fidelity internal world that competes with external signals. We call this process a sensory remix. The brain does not stop at visuals. It is capable of blending sounds, smells, and physical sensations into the image. You experience this when your heart rate spikes or your muscles tense during an intense dream or visualization. Your brain is preparing your body for an event that is not physically happening, yet is already occurring in a neurological sense. We call this phenomenon priming, the preparation of perception. If you consciously visualize a process in the morning, your brain sharpens the relevant networks, allowing you to react much faster and more accurately in reality. The most stunning evidence for the power of visualization is the treatment of phantom limb pain. Imagine someone loses an arm, yet their brain still feels unbearable cramping and pain in the non-existent limb. Since the arm is gone, there is nothing to massage, and medication is often ineffective because the pain is in the brain, not the body. The solution: a mirror box and visualization. The patient moves their remaining arm in front of a mirror, and the brain, tricked by the sight and mental focus, believes the missing arm is moving and relaxing. The power of the internal image can override physical absence and terminate the agony. This is the ultimate proof. For your brain, an internally generated image can be more significant and more real than the state of the physical body. Neuroplasticity proves that your mental focus is a biological architect. Rewiring perception. Visualization is not merely a fleeting image in your head, it is rigorous physical construction. The process in your brain is based on Hebb's law, which states, cells that fire together, wire together. When you repeatedly and in great detail imagine a process, the connections between neurons physically strengthen. Your brain builds a myelin sheath, a biological insulating layer, around those specific neural pathways. It's like upgrading a slow dirt road into a multi-lane highway. The speed of thought and the flow of information accelerate drastically. This structural reinforcement ensures that the mental blueprint becomes a permanent part of your neural hardware. In this labor, the Reticular Activating System, or RAS, is your most vital tool. This filtering system, located in the brainstem, is responsible for deciding which pieces of the infinite stream of external information reach your consciousness. Through visualization, you are the one programming this filter. If you consistently project solutions and your goals, the RAS begins to highlight those tiny cues and opportunities in your environment that it previously would have filtered out as noise. The world does not change. Rather, your brain's software begins to see it differently. The most staggering evidence for this is the famous pianist experiment at Harvard University. They studied two groups. Members of the first group physically practiced the piano, while the second group only imagined the movements without ever striking a single key. After 5 days, the researchers examined the subjects' brains. The results shocked the scientific community. The brain maps of the visualizing group, specifically the motor cortex responsible for hand movements, had changed almost exactly like those who had actually practiced. For their brains, the difference between physical reality and mental simulation was negligible. This is the proof. The physical structure of your brain does not know if your hand is on the keys or only in your head. Biology responds to the intensity of the focus, not the presence of the object. A blueprint for changing reality. Now, let us examine the blueprint that converts thought into concrete physical change. I am not suggesting you simply think positive thoughts. I am instructing you to use visualization to rewrite your internal chemistry. We call this cognitive reframing. When you visualize a stressful situation, such as a difficult conversation, in advance and in detail while remaining calm, you are actually training your sympathetic nervous system not to trigger the fight or flight response. During the actual event, your brain relies on the visualized memory, resulting in measurably lower cortisol levels. This is not a matter of belief. It is biochemistry. By preemptively managing your endocrine response, you maintain executive function where others succumb to primal stress. The key to this process lies in mirror neurons. These cells fire both when you perform an action and when you intensely imagine doing so. This phenomenon is known as motor equivalence. Visualization activates these networks, which has a direct impact on your motor skills and physical performance. If you replay success perfectly within your mind, your nervous system begins to send the subtle signals to the muscles that are necessary for actual execution. The most staggering physical evidence of visualization comes from a famous study at the Cleveland Clinic. Participants were asked to simply imagine flexing their pinky muscles for 15 minutes a day over 12 weeks. They never moved them. They never lifted a single weight. By the end of the experiment, the muscle strength in the visualization group had increased by 35%. Through the power of thought alone. Their brains learned to send such powerful and efficient electrical signals to the muscles as a result of the visualization training that the body was forced to physically adapt to the imagined load. Your reality does not begin with what you touch with your hands, but with the electrical signals your brain emits. Master the signal, and you master the machine. Collective visualization and social impact. Thus far, we have analyzed the mechanics of the individual mind, but what occurs when an entire community, rather than a single person, visualizes the same reality? This is what we define as collective visualization. Social trends, media messaging, and shared cultural beliefs essentially create massive echo chambers within the human brain. If a large segment of society, driven by the news cycle, visualizes an economic crisis or an inevitable catastrophe, individual behavior alters subconsciously. People become more cautious, they withdraw, and they make decisions based on fear, which eventually and physically manifests the crisis itself. This is the placebo effect operating on a global, societal scale, where the collective expectation dictates the biological and economic output of the population. Designing our shared future is not merely a political or economic question, it is a neurological challenge. If a community can unifiedly visualize a livable and sustainable future, the brains of its individuals collectively begin to search for the technical solutions and forms of cooperation that lead there. The highest level of social engineering is not external coercion, but the formation of a shared internal vision. When the RAS filters of millions are tuned to the same objective, a society's reality can transform with astonishing velocity. This alignment creates a powerful feedback loop, accelerating the transition from abstract concept to tangible infrastructure. The most staggering evidence of collective visualization is mass physiological synchronization. Research has demonstrated that during shared rituals or intense group focus, whether a religious ceremony or deep visualization directed toward a common goal, the heart rates and stress hormone levels of participants can change simultaneously, in perfect sync. This is not magic. It is the fact that social reinforcement amplifies the effect of individual visualization, drastically reducing cortisol levels across an entire group at once. We do not only build our reality for ourselves, we collectively mirror and validate it for one another. Mastering internal vision. Now that we understand the biological background, let us examine how you can calibrate your own internal projector. Do not overcomplicate it, but be precise. Begin with 5 minutes of isolated visualization daily. This is not meditation or daydreaming, it is active mental labor. Choose a specific objective, whether it is a physical movement, a difficult conversation, or a technical skill, and visualize it from a first-person perspective. Do not watch yourself from the outside like a movie. Instead, feel the weights, hear the sounds, and see the colors through your own eyes. The more senses you involve in the process, the more brain regions you engage in the rewiring, and the thicker the protective layer on your neural pathways becomes. But be wary of the traps. Your brain is unbiased. It does not distinguish between beneficial and harmful visualization. If you constantly replay worst-case scenarios, what common language calls worrying, you are building physical neural pathways in your head just the same, but for fear and failure. Anxiety is, in reality, your visualization capacity utilized in the wrong direction. It is your responsibility to decide which film you screen in your internal cinema, because your brain interprets every single frame as a command. The most effective visualization method is based on the 24-hour rule. Neuroscience has proven that your brain is most receptive to change directly before falling asleep and immediately after waking up. In this state, your brain produces alpha and theta waves, which provide the optimal window for rewriting synaptic connections. These lower frequency states bypass your critical filters, allowing for more efficient neuroplastic encoding. If you perform the practice during this 10 to 15-minute period, your brain will spend the entire night's sleep consolidating and fixing these new pathways. A single session of conscious visualization before sleep is worth more to the physical structure of your brain than 2 hours of stressful daytime struggle. Thank you for joining me today. If you seek the answers, subscribe, activate the notification bell, and share this with those who are not satisfied with superficial explanations. The light of the mind shines brightest when it is passed on.